Uh, well, this is interesting because I talk a lot. I'm Sean Shears, by the way. I'm a songwriter who has cerebral palsy and arthritis, in case anyone was wondering. But anyway, I'm here to just really lay the facts down bare about songwriting and about sort of the pros and cons and my history of being 34 and being 35 in about a week or so, 2 weeks, and really the beauty of songwriting and the fact that anyone can do it. And I'm not saying that because I've done it, but I'm saying that there is a simple formula, and the simple formula is, if you have an idea for a song, find the right people. Whether singers, musicians, whatever, producers, they're the most important, one of the most important parts, if not the most important part. And be like a director of a film and put bits together and try things out and collaborate and work with people and see what you can come up with. For me, I'm self-trained reading and writing, not just music but just general reading and writing. I'm self-trained in. I went to a special school, and I can remember going near the piano and literally playing a few chords because I'd seen, I think it was Phil Collins or Elton John on TV do it, and they didn't do any close-ups on the fingers. I just saw the spaces between the two hands and the fingers. I just was able to shot, the one shot, just the straight side-on shot, was able to show me what they were kind of doing without any zoom-ins. And I remember that really clearly because it was a Des O'Connor show. And Mum always let me stay up and watch Des O'Connor in my room as a kid. So basically, kind of my first foray into songwriting was, I suppose, through poetry, but my first real attempt at writing anything was writing a play, because I went to drama classes and I saw how a play was written, and I took that format, and in an afternoon I wrote a play, and did the same thing with poetry. And one day I went into the special school and I wrote a song and composed it, put words to it, and no one believed me. Because my nan had written the lyrics out, because I dictated them to her, no one believed me. So I remember being put in this room and this PA coming in called Wayne Adderley, who I still know to this day, and he gave me a guitar and he taught me how to play Wipeout, and I busted out of detention, being a little rock and roll rebel, for about 7 or 8. No, 6, 7. Yeah, probably 7. And then, a couple of years go by. Have fun. I'm a kid. I get to secondary school, and Oasis come along, and it all changes from that point. And it all sort of changed from there, really. People were all of a sudden interested in writing songs again, and I grew up listening to Elvis, the Beatles, and Buddy Holly, and Chubby Checker, and Little Richard, and the Everly Brothers, and Johnny Cash, and Dolly Parton, and unbeknownst to me, probably some of the best songwriters in the world, because behind Elvis there was Lee Stoller, and some of the best producers. In the world. Buddy Holly, for an all-in songwriter and producer, was just phenomenal. And then, when you listen to Sam Phillips and Johnny Cash, Elvis, the list goes on, really. Jerry Lee Lewis. But I mean, the thing is, you know, I mean, Some Records was really what it was all about for me. It was, and you know, especially those Little Richard recordings as well, because it was one room, no messing. You could hear the bass properly hit the ceiling like you can on vinyl, and it captured my imagination from that point on. So at secondary school, my friend and I played a bit of keyboard and piano, and that's where it sort of started to begin. And that's sort of where it all began, because I played a bit of keyboard, my mate Adam played a bit of keyboard, and we just really had, I remember we had 2 motifs for every song, so we had about 6 notes for every song, so that's 3 notes per section. And I think, unbeknownst to me, that sort of started the arthritic approach to songwriting, because I didn't have arthritis at this point. But yeah, we literally would play our demos. Essentially, we would get a keyboard, and I would write lyrics down and literally just sing to the keyboard parts, and we would just record presets over the top of the keyboard parts, and then Adam would drum to them. But we were lucky, we got to write with a choir, and it actually bloody worked, you know. Okay, yeah, mainly because people wanted time off of classes, but it worked. And then sort of went into, when it, you know, sort of went off, did my own thing with a friend that I knew called Peter Falk, and the first guitarist I'd ever really worked with. And the first time I'd come across a 4-track, a Tascam 4-track. But and we did a song, and it's very bluesy. And I'll be honest with you, it was a rip-off of a lot of things. But now I look at it and I go, wow, that was a good song, and I still like that song. I still hear it in my head from time to time. But and then sort of progressed on to college, still performing, still doing all that sort of malarkey, but at the same time there's always been this intrigue around instruments. So I sort of watched how people drummed, and I watched how people did things, and always sort of took it in. At college, my first week there, I had to direct a play, so I went up and I met my first producer ever, who became one of my best friends for a long while, Robin Bassett. And I said to him, I need you to be my lighting director, but he was an audio-visual engineer. And I said to him, I've got this problem. I said, I've got some of this stuff that you got, because I had a Tascam with a 24-track that a band manager had given me, and I had a MIDI box and a new PC, an old Acorn to start with, which was like kind of like a Mac, but it's what we used to use at schools, sort of before they started using PCs. So anyway, well, we had a PC at home. I didn't really know how to work. I couldn't work with MIDI, and I couldn't work with Cubase, and I couldn't work with cutting things exactly to time, because I was getting I had arthritis at this point, and I kind of was making it more complicated than it needed to be. Surprise! But what I found was I started working with Robin, and we started to do a lot of stuff for theatre. So it was making things sound a certain way, and watching him edit waves. And I said to him, is there any way we can make like the keyboard sounds, the preset keyboard sounds that the computer gives me, into these graphics, and then I can edit them and make them sound better? Because what I'd done in the interim to that was literally used the vocal thing like you see now on voice notes that I'm using. You'll see the vocal waves. You'll see if I speak louder, then it gets louder, it gets bigger, sound gets bigger, and obviously, like, I could like zoom in on that and edit that a lot more easier, because with cerebral palsy you have problems with spatial awareness and numbers and stuff. And literally, I just wanted to just be able to just cut the waves like I had done when I just recorded vocals, and I'd gone in and I'd put down some beats, and then I'd exported it from an EJing track that had synced it all together, and then I could put the best bits in, put effects on, job done. Anyway, I remember we had the breakthrough one day, and Robin said we could just set up, whatever program it is you're using. I think it was Cubase at the time, a very basic version, and we would take the sounds from that, leave that running, and record, get the wave program to record the MIDI program just by clicking a button, just by double clicking the volume button would lead me to advanced record settings, and then I would work from there. So basically, that was when we made the breakthrough. I got a phone call, and I figured it out, and it takes 20 seconds, and we'd spent two months trying to figure out how to do this, because you could see what I was getting at, and that helped me out a little bit. And then I joined a band, and then sort of realised how important lyrics and vocals were, and sort of, kind of making a band that was very, not samey, but that had a formula, and making that formula seem like it was more than what it was. With vocals and lyrics, you can do that. Because, and also with the right producers, I mean, Robin was very good at capturing the essence of the band, but one thing I found, we worked with Nathan Thomas, first of all, and one thing I found with him was he was able to, it just so happened we were rehearsing Chill one day, and he came in, he said, actually, the room is set up to record. Can I just record you guys for something to do? So our drummer was slightly out of sync at the time, and I'd written the lyrics down because it was essentially a jam. It wasn't a song that we would normally do. So I laid the vocals down. He said, I'll put it all together. I went round his, watched him, step in the tempo off of a keyboard, and literally just compressed the hell out of my vocals. And he was like, this is good, and had this rough and this raw quality to it, but we never really seemed to be able to capture the essence of that. This seems to be an ongoing theme. This is the curiosity coming out here. So I kind of, like going back to the piano and the guitar thing, segueing back, we had an out-of-tune piano in my house, and there's an urban legend around my piano that basically, the story goes that there was we knew someone in our family, my great-great-granddad knew someone, or my great-granddad knew someone, he knew a guy who played in one of the, part of the Royal Orchestra. He was a piano player for one of the Royal Orchestras or something, and this was his practice piano, and he didn't want it getting bombed in London, so my family were moving down to Southampton, and the guy never asked for it back, and it just sort of stayed in the family. And my mum rescued it from my aunties because her husband wanted to sell it at the time, but it had been in the family for so long, my mum considered it an heirloom, and instead of getting me a guitar, I ended up with an out-of-tune piano. But the beautiful thing about this was by the time I'd got round to using the piano again, after the arthritis had set in, after I'd finished with the band, the curiosity of just making shapes